Guys, how are you? Welcome, welcome. It seems like we have a full house today, so Merry Christmas in July to all of you. And let's say hello to some folks. I saw that Mommy Guide was here super duper early, as was Pam. Hello, Pam. Let's see who else. Deborah and Gaz are here. Actually, I don't see your initial hello, but that's all right. And ECR is in the house as well as Gloria. Oh, hey, Gloria. Let me know if you need a tracking number on your prize thingy. It should go out in the mail. Well, like it should get picked up on Monday here. So I think you should get it this week or whenever. However, the post office thinks 3 days is. They have a very interesting calculation mechanism in sort of a post-pandemic world. But anywho, oh, thanks. I'm glad you like the intro. It's funny because like when I was writing the class I'm doing on Tuesday, I did all my Christmas like overlays and intros and all that, and now I was like, oh, I should probably use those now that it's like the actual right month. Anyway, and hello. I said hello to Pam. Hi, Annie. How are you? I saw your video as well as the one on the not too shabby whatever it's called. I don't think it's called By the Beach. It's called something like that. Anyway, one of those. And hello, Deborah. Welcome, welcome. And Barbara, welcome in as well. So I think the best news of the day is I think that so I'm going to be giving away more prize thingies for Christmas in July, but those are all packed and ready to go once we like give them away and have winners and do all the things. We've already got I think 15 or 20 entries in the Christmas in July in Lynn's group, so that's pretty awesome. Um, but yeah, so there's those, and I think I'm giving away one on the 10th at Elizabeth's stream and one on the 18th at Delisa's stream. And anyway, you finally made it. Hooray, welcome. Oh, yeah, I do that too. I have a funny story. So, and this is sort of Lala's fault, but not really. We were talking a while back about like maybe you should get a professional headshot if you're doing like classes and your channel's actually has more than like you and your cats watching it. And so that was always on my radar, but I was supposed to get a haircut this Saturday because I'm getting new photos taken on Monday, and yeah, that didn't happen. But I didn't put it on my calendar because nothing happens if it's not in my calendar. But anyway, hello, hello. I think that is all up to date. Um, Shanna, I think will not be going live at her normal time. She just dropped me a message that she was traveling. We got one card in the mail, and then we're mostly going to be focusing on doing a sheet load, and we can talk a little bit more about that. Basically, everything's cut except for the pattern paper. Now, this is a very thick envelope, so I'm guessing it's from my A swap. Wow, oh, it helps if you open the whole envelope now, doesn't it? Here we go. And it comes with a special, oh wow, it comes with a lot of things. It comes with a cute simplistic designs from Lynn Dunn. Here's your info if you are interested. I believe she is a Stampin' Up person. And we got a cool dad card, which I'm guessing is for the masculine swap. Look how cool that is on the inside. It's all colored and everything. Like some people are very fancy. I like it. I guess it does kind of man, I don't know if I'd call it a simple card, but it's a very straightforward card. This might be pattern paper. Often I get confused as to what's pattern paper and what isn't. And then this, I believe, is oh, this might be exactly the same paper I pulled for us tonight. How convenient. It looks like it looks like it is. Anyway, I like the if you haven't been watching anything recently, I like this paper pad a lot. Nice inside piece. Great, clean and simple kind of holiday card. Grateful, fantastic sentiment. Looks like it is embossed in white. I should learn how to emboss in white. Anyway, if you do watch this, Lynn, thank you. That is a fabulous card. What else will I talk about? Oh, I have a registration link up for my class on the 2nd, which is Tuesday. I will just quickly show you. These are the cards that I will be doing then. It will be also on Facebook and on here. So, the class is totally free. If you register for the class, I'll know that you're interested and I can send you the PDF on how to cut everything. And if you're interested in getting a kit that basically makes these cards really easy to make because it'll all be pre-cut, you know. Someone I think called it sort of the meal kit approach to crafting, where it's like you get all the pieces and you just glue them together. That info is also on the registration page. Basically, you can buy the kit or it's free with a $40 order from my Stampin' Up! Store, etc., etc. I assume that you guys are been crafters forever, so you're probably familiar with that whole process. Anyway, I pulled these two pieces of pattern paper because I like them. I like them together, but this one particularly I think is really nice because it's sparkly and foily and magical, but like it's not super Christmassy, and it's a very nice sort of it's like a vanilla cream color. Let's just bring in white for comparison. There you go. So it's a nice, it's almost like a green leaning cream, which I don't think is a thing, but it's probably really white, and I'm just like seeing it with all the green stuff. So have those to cut up. This is still working through. If you were if you're a really OG person and knew me a year ago, I had this great idea that I would take sheet loads and pre-cut all of them for my craft fair. And this is gold foil that from Michaels that was in my stash, but this is a die from the that new collection. So I have a bunch of little fronds, and then we have a bunch of other pieces. Let me just organize my pieces. And then we can start making cards. I guess we have to stamp a bunch of things and cut a bunch of things. Well, not a bunch, but two pieces of pattern paper. But I will show you how these cards go together before we do that. Um, you know where this brown is from? It's not a brown that I recognize. It's a very chocolatey kind of brown. Oh, that's it. Uh, Spoiler, I moved my desk around, so like there's some times I don't know what stuff's on camera. These are pre-scored by me. These are luckily I had some sheet loads that had these awful like lightweight not really eco-friendly, but like budget-friendly card bases. Yeah, don't do that. It will bring you pain. But this is what the actual design is going to look like. So this is brown, this is brown. We need to stamp a sentiment, and then our little frowny bit will go here. This we can sort of tuck under the circle and under this piece. So we may want to sort of dry fit this a little bit to figure out how much pine frond we want. Because I think on, like, this is kind of big on an actual A2. And since it curves up, I might just move this over and just, like, have it curve this way. Because to me, like pine boughs kind of do this. So I think that kind of makes more sense. So we'll see when we get there. Anywho, let me see if I'm missing you anything. Lennox was here. Where is Lennox? Lennox is sprawled out being hot somewhere. But he was here earlier. He just had some food, and Kaiser is napping in some of the new areas that well, are here. And I am so happy that I actually did my cleanup because it's like it's still so weird going down to my craft room and being able to find things. I don't know if this is just like a me problem. I think it's oh hey Cordelia, how are you? Welcome. I forget if I said hello. I did mention Lynn Dunn. Oh, neato. Yeah, she sent me. I think we're in the same swap. She had sent me this card and these two cards. So this Christmas card and this masculine card. So we're in the same swap, but I didn't know anything about her. I do like her butterfly logo. I'll have to dig her up because That's super cool. Yeah, the cat may be in a food coma. I'm not sure. We will see. I mean, he'll probably make another appearance because that's what he does. The Iris card. The Iris card. Do we have an Iris card? Which is the Iris card, Jim? I think we. This was not an Iris, or at least not. I don't think either of these has an Iris or is an Iris. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I was gonna say. I think there's a. Oh, cool. So a friend has chocolate on their fingers and puts the craft paper. Oh, no worries. Hopefully it's chocolate and not other things. But let me get to cutting. 'Cause I think this will. We'll see. This is actually a fairly straightforward cutting guide. This is a sheet load from at least a year ago. I should probably be a good person and figure out which one it is. This is the March 2021 sheet load. So in deference to Call Me Crafty Al, I'm not going to show the whole thing on screen, but if you want to use it, it does exist. So we are just going to not drop our paper on the floor because I would be kind of cranky about that. These aren't really directional, but I feel like this is sort of the upside. But I mean, I think you could do it either way. Actually, this is completely non-directional, but anyway, we'll see. Um, Actually, I don't know that I don't need my big arm out. That's cool. I love it when that happens. So cut one happens at 3 3/4. I think I do this twice. Can I cut two at once? Probably not. That would be a bad idea. Actually, what I should do for every time I do sheet loads is I should grab my Fiskars trimmer because it is really good at cutting multiple sheets at once. And like these are the same cuts, so like you'll get to watch me do this. And then everything is 3 3/4. Okay, well that's easy. And then we wind up with an extra piece. I will move this off to the side. It does have a really nice pattern on the back, so like this would be good for insides of cards. Just reading to see what's up with you guys. Oh, sorry, Brenda. My class is at 6 o'clock, although it's available forever on replay. Um, so it's sort of the same time as these streams. It's just on a Tuesday because I've been doing my videos on Tuesdays, so in my brain it made sense. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And I know Craft Roulette does their second show on Tuesday, but I think that's the only thing I knew about that was going on. Well, we'll see. Oh, I can't cut two sheets at once. Fabulous. Anyway, we're just making a whole bunch of squares, as you might have surmised from the card design we looked at. 3 and and then these pieces are extra. I will save them over here as well because a lot of these things can be used to decorate. So we have our 6 square pieces that will become the top part of the card. And then this one we just wind up cutting six, whatever these are, 1.5, which is hard to cut on this cutter. Well, it isn't really, but I don't know. We cut one and a half. I just love the club scrap person who's like knows how to like do the math on these things. I'm just sort of like, no, we just keep cutting one and a half until we have six of them, and then we'll be good. The other thing I guess that's worth noting is this paper is double-sided, so we can potentially decide what sides we want to use, or we can get four designs, or we can not do that and just do two, depending on if we wind up having significant preferences on all that sort of thing. We have one, two, three. We need one more, and then we have some extra. I thought I heard Linux. I did not. That's extra. These six are here. We do need to ah, it's actually really easy to cut. So we will need to potentially corner around these. I probably will because I like corner rounding stuff, but yeah, let me remind me before we wrap up. I'll drop you there's a direct link to it I can probably drop. These are new Stampin' Up papers. They're from the collection is called The Season of Green and Gold, which kind of is borne out not on this not really on this paper, but like these guys are very green and gold. If there we go. Yeah. It's foiled a lot, if that's a look you like. It is generally a look I like, but so then we're going to basically do the same thing all over again, which is three and three quarters, three and three quarters, and three and three quarters. So I think of the sheet loads I've done, this one is probably one of the harder ones to have issues with because like the measurements are all the same. The issue I will sometimes have is like, I'll wind up not paying attention to measurements that are close but are not the same. If something's like three and three quarters and something's like three and a half. And I didn't actually check it because I was naughty, but I think the brown will work with all of our patterns. It'll certainly work here. This looks pretty good. Yeah, I think this will be fine. I guess this is my. I don't know if I would want a whole card of this, but we'll see. We can play around with it once we get there. So we've now cut. These are all cut to three and three quarters. And then I'm going to make squares out of them. And I'm going to see if I'm missing anything. Oh, yeah. I don't know. Sometimes I like replays of things better, honestly, because I can kind of go at my own pace. Just because, that was the one thing I actually noticed taking a class in real life this year was like, you know, after taking so many classes on YouTube, which is like, you know, in YouTube land, you can always rewind, where in real life, that's not really a thing. Although I will say I was very impressed at the level of instructions, at least crafty people in Wisconsin tend to provide. I don't know if that's the same everywhere, but I thought it was pretty. At least I was impressed by sort of the just the technical detail that were in most of the instructions I've seen from other folks. And now we're just cutting these last strips. And I'm kind of surprised. Usually, like cutting these papers is quite a process. Um, well, similar to cutting for any kind of matchmaking thing, where I don't know. Usually, I'm like, I need to measure this about 15 times. And I will say a special thank you to everybody who did either of the KCC hops that are going on currently. Oh, sorry, I'll clear that thing off the screen so it doesn't drive you nuts, peoples. Because I don't know, it seems like people are really getting into it. I've seen a lot of like full sets. I have not done a full set, although I've started two, so I don't know if that kind of counts. Like, can I say like, well, I've made six of one set and four of another. It's kind of like doing the challenge, except not at all. Do I have enough? I need one, two. One, two, three, four, five, six. I think we are good. I don't know that we actually need to cut anything else. So then I think we just need to corner round these, but luckily we have the heavy duty corner rounder, which I like so much because it does a very nice job. I don't know how many of these I can do at once. Let me try two and see if it's okay. I think it can pretty much go through anything. And we should figure out. Oh, I like these smaller ones. I think we'll do stick with a quarter inch. There we go. See, it's just a cute little round, but I think it'll work well. And since all these papers are non-directional, I don't really have to worry that much about what the bottom is, which is kind of nice. Obviously, if you did have an oopsie, it wouldn't be the end of the world because you uh, could just re-round it, or like there is enough extra floating around where I think it would be pretty easy to just recut a piece. And I do love these corner chompers because you can just do a whole bunch of sheets at once. And who has the time? Well, we have plenty of time. It's a Sunday evening, but there we go. I think those are done. Let me just check up on chat. Well, I'll give you my 2 cents of suggestions, although Mommy Guide and a bunch of other people here in the chat probably have ideas. I think the safe move is to look for non-directional papers and papers that all go together. There is, I think, there's like a breakdown of which papers go on which cards, but I've never been quite together enough to read it and like understand how that all works. Anyway, let's stamp these. I will grab my stamp wheel because it makes it easy. Um, and I'm going to use the sentiments that go with the paper. I've been really liking this Love and Joy one just because it's sort of non super duper Christmassy. So, like, if you happen to give it to someone who was not all that into the holiday or doesn't celebrate winter holidays, and those folks do exist. I always feel kind of bad for them with like the 9 million like Christmas everythings you'd probably have to deal with. Um, Love and Joy goes here. You can tell I have been using this quite a bit. Although the exact like alignment on this is kind of easy because it's a circle. Oh, I'm off camera. There we go. Now I'm back on camera. Someday I will know how cameras work. Anyway, and I did some of these in black and some in green. I actually kind of like the green better, but let me know if you guys have a preference. This is black, Versafine Claire Nocturne. This is Old Olive, which is the same color as the card base. So those are the two I've been using. We could certainly use everybody's favorite Twilight as well, but I will give you guys a moment to see. It is kind of. It would be really cool to do that. Like, you could have it like as like writing a note. Like if you sort of figured out you could just have it like sitting on like a mini piece of paper on your card, sort of, and have like a just a note or something. That's a good point. I didn't see that until you mentioned it, but I really like it. I think it's supposed to be a bow, but I mean it does very much look like a quill. I guess it depends how much Christmas you want to read in. Oh, thanks, Cordelia. I was all well, seeing no major feelings. I kind of like the green, so I think I'll go that route. We can mix it up if anyone is very super into black. Except I have a smudgy. Maybe I can. Yeah, I'm gonna probably mess this up a lot. but that's all right. I mean, not the stamping per se, just the surface of the stamp wheel, because it is tricky to get in and do just a little bit. And that's how that looks. Shout out as always to my friend Gloria, who makes these cool pokey tools that are hard to lose because they're all beaded and stuff. Let me just, I had crud on it. Oh well. Um, Annie, I think, had asked if she's still around, like, what are the pokey tools for? The thing I wind up using it for is getting little pieces off sticky mats that might be wet from stamping. Obviously, like, this is dye ink, so it probably has sunk in already, but it's really good to just pry up little things. It's also good if you need to get under like a card layer to fix an oopsie if you put it on upside down or some such thing, which I do quite a bit. Not as much as I used to, because I check more, but there's that. Just re-ink this, and I don't know. I'm still loving the stamp wheel after using it for a while. I have found that as it gets more use, there are like some areas that seem to stamp better than others on the stamp wheel. I mean, kind of similar to like how you would see that happen on like a die cut machine after you kind of break it in, where it's like some areas are better than others. I should really put this in a mini cube, like, because it's a working with a full stamp pad is just asking for me to put my finger in it at some point, or hand, or who knows what. But see, I think like this against the green paper looks a lot less severe than black, which I mean you could like or not like, I guess. It kind of depends on, I don't know. I kind of like the green side of Christmas, I guess, but I don't know. I'm also hopeful. There was a really cool I don't know. There was a lot of really cool Christmas stuff last year, so I am hopeful it's a cool Christmas year for all of us. Even though, I don't know. The pro of Christmas in July is getting a start. The con of Christmas in July is like often a lot of stuff hasn't been released yet, so. And this is why I like these sheet loads so much, is like it's just very chill when you're just sort of repeating the same step over and over because you don't really have to check it. You don't need to necessarily pay attention as much. Although you should pay attention to where you're stamping your sentiment because it's easy to do but these can easily be. If I did mess one of these up, there's always the backside to it, and we can also let me just clean off a few of these little smudgies just because they're bugging me, and I didn't really want to stick my hand in it. And then uh, I had the good or bad choice to work with a white card base, and that's always a little one of those things. For if you watch the Thursday stream, you noticed me finding white card bases with lots of smudges all over them that like weren't smudged on the live stream, but were just like I don't know for while they were sitting, they got smudged somehow. But I love my foam ink pads, but the downside is like if you put your hand in it, you're really gonna put your hand in it. Let me see what if I'm missing anything. Oh, poking die cuts. Yeah. That's another really good use of them as well. These dies would be a good example if I had it on my desk still. But there's a lot of dies with like intricate little bits that the pokey tools are great to get things out of. And to get the die cuts out of the dies if they're being a little not very helpful at coming out. Now you could theoretically with the stamp wheel, I'm not doing it, but you could put one of these in each corner and then you could just rotate it four ways if you find that easier, if that made sense. Like you can put multiple of these down and then just stamp around them. But typically with sentiments, I want to like re-ink and be a little more mindful of them, just because like they're a thing people are going to look at it on the card. And I just got a good bit of ink on the stamp wheel again. But hey, as others have said, it's a tool. So like if you mark this thing up, like that's kind of the point. Yeah. Yeah, Gloria Wolf is all often around. She's on Facebook. I think she sells through a company in Australia. So I don't know. That might actually be easier to get shipping for you, Lala. But yeah, I can point you at Gloria. She often drops by ECR's lives and I think a few other people's. But it is sort of a strange weekend with sort of I don't know. At least in the US because our holiday day fell on a Thursday. A lot of people have kind of sort of took Friday off, so it's been I don't know. It's been like a 4-day weekend for a lot of us, so I don't know. I feel like people may be just sort of recovering from the weekend and chilling and trying to get stuff back together before Monday happens all too soon. And then this one's popped off, and we're only got one more of these to do. Well, after this one. And I don't know. I do like the idea of I like the think the idea of pre-cutting these sheet loads is kind of a neat one. I don't know if I'll do it again. I don't know if it like if there's really a benefit. I guess there's a benefit if I were really ahead of the game and wanted to do something. Whoops, sorry. Didn't mean to whack my camera with my plate. Anyway, there we go. Let me close the sink before I put my hand in it. Because I'm good at that. And let's also clean any excess ink off of our stamp wheel. Actually, this one's kind of dry. We have clean this up, and then we can start putting together cards. If I figure out where I put my stamp set, which is an interesting problem to have. Oh, it's right here. There we go. There's that. Let's pop this guy off. And then we're done stamping. And this is kind of one of my favorite things about this kind of making is like it's really you can kind of have your once you get to the end, you kind of have all the hard parts put together already. I say that, but I think the next order of business is really to just glue these guys onto these brown circles and let me know. I don't know. I know that Chana is likely to not be live at her normal time, but I also don't need to. Oh, we're doing pretty well on time. I don't need to like use a tremendous amount of your time. So we'll check in as we get through steps. See, this is kind of the problem with dye ink that I tend to do, which is to, you know, just kind of get things stuck to other things. Now, if it's the back, it doesn't matter, but if it's the front, it's kind of more of a problem. Grab one of each, and let me just get that little bit of glue off the end here. I'm just using PVA glue to put this all together because it just grips really quickly, and that's one of my favorite things when doing these is like to not use adhesives that are super fussy just because it can kind of slow you down. Well, or don't flip the glue piece onto your shirt either. That's also a good life tip, I guess. Although I don't think anyone was really ever going to do that intentionally. Hey, Blossom, how are you? Hopefully, you are doing well. Oh, so I'm curious, Elizabeth, like, did you have to recover after that live stream? Because I thought I was impressed with all of you guys, like being able to do four cards in 45 minutes. Like, I don't think necessarily doing the cards is hard, but like talking to people and like, like managing a live stream and doing cards, I think I would have found challenging. But I don't know. If you guys didn't watch the KCC live stream yesterday, it's worth going back and seeing because there's um, well, and I know I've said this about a billion times before in relation to the challenge, but the thing I always like the best is like everybody has a different take on the actual sketches, right? So like we saw there was just a bunch of different themes going on, which I thought was really cool. You went from sort of vibrant fruit to Halloween to no, I think no, we went from watermelon to Halloween. Did we go from watermelon to Halloween to went from no, we went from Jenna did really vibrant papers. You did Halloween. Yvette did watermelon. Then Lynn did summer fruits. I guess there was a lot of summer colors. I feel like there was something else that wasn't summer and wasn't Halloween in there that I'm not remembering, but I don't know. I was also kind of relaxing and watching and eating dinner at the same time, so I might be forgetting. But I thought it was just really great. Oh, that's cool. I think I might have needed a break. See you, Cordelia. I need to retract that a legless lizard. Would a dragon count as a legless lizard? I guess dragons have legs. I guess those other legless lizards that my father is not a fan of would probably count as the sort of legless lizards you would prefer to not have on things. I feel like those of us blessed to live in states without the poisonous varieties of those around always have a slightly more optimistic opinion of them. There they are. They may switch over to dry adhesive, but I like the ability to that wet adhesives gives you a little more wiggle room where like if you're centering a circle on a circle and it gets not centered, it's much more apparent. Yeah, the ouch. Well, I know my dad used to run into sort of like garden snakes when he was helping my grandmother harvest veggies, and he is very much not a fan of them. I think mostly because of the startle factor. I mean, they aren't at least here in should say at least in Massachusetts there weren't like dangerous snakes. They were just sort of like, there. There we go. All of our circle bits done. And I think now we can just start making cards because I don't think there's a tremendous amount of other stuff to do. Just gonna see where the bump on this is and then fold towards the middle. And I probably need a bone folder. And we'll see how accurate my card bases are. This is pretty good, actually. So the way these go together is you grab one of your square pieces This is going to be really pretty together. Anyway, you grab one of your square pieces, and the square piece goes here. And then one of your other pieces of paper, which will then sort of butt up to it. So you have this kind of a look. Oh, this is not exactly even. We'll have to fix this later. But you have this look, and then your for us brown piece goes down over it. The sentiment I probably will put over here. This is sort of an inversion on the actual card because I want my little pine thing slash fern to kind of tuck in. Let me just see. Yeah, like I probably would like to have it tuck in, and then we can figure out how much we want to curve. I think we would just sort of glue it like that, and then put our at the end put this piece over it. So I think that's gonna look pretty cool. Um, Let me fix my score line on this because it's kind of bugging me. But I think we can basically put this together with ATG pretty quickly because I don't think we're gonna need to do a ton of work here. I think it's going to be, well, we need to do a ton of work to fix our code base, but I don't think we're going to need to do a ton of work other than that. So I'm just going to move the score line a little bit, and then we're in a much better place. I'm going to grab my tape, and I have a lot of tape, which is good because one of the things is like matchmaking cards goes through a lot of tape. So maybe what I'll do is uh I'll make one of each of the four variants, and then I'll make the rest of them off camera because I think that watching the same card get made, whatever, three other times is probably not the most super thrilling thing. So I'm gonna basically eyeball this, but if you're not an eyeballing things kind of person, you can certainly use one of those fancy scrapbook rulers that has the little squares on. I mean, it's a clear ruler that has like eighth of an inch squares, and basically you can line them up, and then you have a flat surface. So that's piece one, and then do we like green and green? Well, we'll have at some point green and green, but I'm just gonna do the same thing, and then I think we can also use, since we're not gonna put the die cut under the brown piece exactly, I think what we can do, there we go. Is I think we can just put a line of ATG on this and just sort of leave the rest of this free, or two lines of ATG, because basically we're just gonna follow the line that we have already. And I don't remember which punch this is. This is a border punch I got at a garage sale locally. So, and you can decide. So I'm just gonna go sort of center here, and then in future cards we can sort of decide if we like that or not. Yeah. Well, I cut these pretty evenly. I am happy about that. So we'll just put that down. A little bit of overhang, but still pretty easy to fix. So let's make sure that we are, here's a good example. Like there are these little pieces here that sometimes don't punch out. Now the ones that I care less about the ones at the end because we're probably going to cover them up anyway, but the ones that are not on the end, I would like to get out because it kind of it kind of adds to the branchy frontiness of it if the actual pieces that are supposed to come out have come out. Yeah, Elizabeth is correct. We know how many people watch things, but we have no idea who those people are, basically. So let's look at this a little more carefully. Well, assuming this was right ways up. The original sketch has this coming pretty much down, and then being inset a bit. So it's more like this, which I think makes sense. Let's see. Now this coming up a lot. I don't know if I love that. Let's say like this maybe, just a little bit poking out. I kind of like that. I don't want it to be like super overpowering. You want credit? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It'd be cool if you got like some kind of bonus credit, I guess, from watching stuff. Yeah, this is all stuff from the same collection, Stamper Girl. It's the one that I was playing with on Lynn's Live because it has blingy foily bits. I guess the other way we could do this is we could like pull this down. We could make the front, we could pull this in too. I guess it depends how high up. Or we could actually, I'm trying to think how I would like this. Because I could see this sort of more horizontal too. I kind of like it lower. I don't really love it when it's, or just do I like it even without it? Eh, I kind of like it without it better. Is that weird? Like I feel like you'd want a die that more correctly fit this space, but like just the tip of the pine bough, I don't really love. I mean, we could cut it like this, I guess, or we could just overlay this too. I don't know. I kind of like it without, so I think I'm going to do some of those. Cute. Can there be? Oh, two pine boughs? Yeah, we could do that. Let's see what that looks like. I mean, I need to die cut more, but for the purposes of us tonight, it doesn't matter because we can easily do that. So how does that look? So let's say we have, oh, that does look better. Good call. Because then we can just, I mean, we probably want to cut these a little bit. We want to cut the ends off, I think, a bit. But no, I like that. That's a really good idea. Let's do that. That does fill the space better. Excellent idea. So we just need to, I guess I probably want to glue these together like this first. And then once these are together, it'll be easier to see where to cut it. So I'll just glue this one somehow on top. And then I guess I should wait for this to dry. That would be an intelligent thing to do. Let me grab my gluey scissors and we'll just say cut like that. And then let's sort of figure out where we want these. These aren't really attached. Oops. Oh well. Yeah, you like this in. I like these. Yeah. So I guess we basically want these two fronds. It's not fronds, but you know what I mean. Like we want them kind of down like this and then like that. But I like the two of them. That definitely I think fills the space better. That's a really good call. That's why crafting live is fun. Other people have ideas and you can just use them in your projects. I do probably need to wait on this just because these are not the most not the easiest thing to glue down. Because we're gluing down, the back of these is not whatever word I'm looking for. The back of them is not foiled, so I mean we don't need to glue them down. They should go down pretty easily. You just need something to press them. Yeah, and they're sticking, which is fantastic. Let me just throw these extra needle, well, really needles, but faux needles in the trash, and then I'll just add a little glue here, and we'll just inset this like that. Oh, this is a good call. I am. This is much better. This is nice. This I'm liking. And then you get the sparkly. This paper isn't not sparkly, but this paper is. So I mean, I like the. Whoops. Oh well. Let me just push that down so that it adheres a little better. But I like this. Good idea. So let me just catch up on the chat since I was a bit preoccupied with carding. Tony should be sassy. I mean, she is. I mean, not Elizabeth sassy. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I always forget to remind people to do all the YouTubey things. It's like Lena's really good at that. And I think if you watch YouTubers who have been doing it a while, like it's so automatic to like suggest to people that they should like share the stream and like, comment, and subscribe and all that stuff. But I always like kind of space on it, and then you're like, I don't know, however many minutes we're into this already, and then it's kind of like, well, it's fine, whatever. 6:48. We are doing pretty good. We'll at least get one more of these done. So I think we will. Let's showcase. Let's see how these look with this star pattern because I was kind of interested in the star pattern. This guy. Oh, oops. Sorry, I always feel bad when I leave comments up and realize that people can't see what I'm doing sometimes. Although, really, the comments currently are just obscuring my glue bottle, which is probably fine because I don't think that's like the most fascinating thing in the world. Oh, Lennox is here. If anybody was interested in their Lennox appearance, it will be coming shortly. Yep, there he is. There's a Lennox. He says hello. He hopefully will not sit right there. Maybe he will. Well, I mean, we can still use most of our desk, right? It'll just be interesting to get our card bases. Anyway, we could pair this with the other one. Let's do the dark green because I think that'll be an interesting look. The cattail is optional, of course. But I think I counted wrong because we have four papers and each card uses two. So I think there are actually eight variants. At least he waited until we get all the complicated stuff out of the way. So I guess there's that. And he just totally like he totally conked out, like he's actually sleeping. So whilst we were hoping he would say hello to his legions of fans, but now we just have a tale to contend with while we're putting stuff together. That's about right. Um, Oops, let me get the card from underneath the kitty. The kitty is on. Are you all on all of my sentiments? Can I scoot you? Sorry. Well, I'm sorry you slept. Please don't. You don't need to sleep on things that I need. Okay. Well, we have all our pieces over here, so I don't think we're gonna. I'll just move these card bases. So if he sits down again, I don't need to bug him. And as we learned last time, we really like this look of the two fronds. So we basically are just going to do this and then chop off the ends once these are tacked down with a little bit of glue. And then use a lot more glue to really get it glued down to the card. Just going to overlap those. I will let that sit for a second and see what I am missing. Well, I should send you the picture, Pam. Um, there's a picture of him like sprawled out on this entire glass mat and the section next to the glass mat. So it's sort of like you know, the cat has decided that like. Obviously, the purpose of having less stuff on the desk was so that he had more areas to sleep. But all I really need to do is I don't need to be super, except I just cut these apart. Yeah, don't do that. Anyway, let's try this again, shall we? But we won't have to cut it again, so I mean, there's that. Sure. No, that's okay. Yeah, now at least you can see his face. I mean, that's an improvement on where we were before. The other thing I didn't mention that would have been smart to mention is for this tacking down bit, like I could have just used tape and then it would have like adhered instantly. So there's that. I'm not really worried about these needles at all or fronds. I'm just putting glue down the middle, so that I think once we have this down, it will be fine. We're basically just making sure that we have this sort of space here covered. And of course, we can always just let that glue for a second. We can always come back in and tack this down later if we have to. But then basically when this love and joy goes on here, we just want to make sure this side area is a bit clear. And that'll help to hold the whole card together as well. So you probably could actually like float these off a little bit more if that's more your vibe. We'll just press and hold. This usually takes about 10 seconds for the glue to grab, so that's why this PVA glue is really nice. Uh, except I glued my sentiment to my glue block. That is a problem. Where did you go? Ah, here it is. Uh, but the sentiment wasn't damaged, so there's that. It got a little gunk on it, but it's fine. Let's try this again. And putting it on the right side up is, of course, desired, but sometimes happens, sometimes doesn't. But here's the second one. These are the same papers, just flipped over. Whoops, sorry about that. So this is the first one we did. Again, we still have our little extra bits. This one is, there are a couple of fronds here that are willing to pull up. But anyway, let me see. We are about at the hour, so I may end things here and then save the rest of these for another day. But I do appreciate you hanging out. And I know that a lot of folks like to grab snacks and whatnot. So anyway, perhaps I will let me check out the chat and move around my cat because, of course, why not? Oops, sorry about that. Oh, thanks. I like this collection because they're like very like botanically. Is that a word? But like they're more botanically than just looking. I don't know. Not that. Let's stick a little glue under these because they're being a little difficult. I'll just put a little brick on them to hang out. Oh, you're welcome. I hope everybody has a good beginning of their week, rest of their week, all the things. Um, and I'll post these two tonight, but when I finish the series, I will put those online as well. I do like these. I mean, as I said before, like I like this Love and Joy one because you could be not specifically super into secular Christmas and still enjoy the winter and whatnot. Um, anyway, so I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Similar, we're still on the same schedule that we've been on for a while. Recorded videos come out 9 a.m. Tuesday, We'll be back here at 6:30. I believe Lala is joining me for Christmas in July. So here's hoping I get these cards done before then. And yeah, and Elizabeth is also live. Elizabeth is live Mondays and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. See everybody later. It's